All right, we should be live. Just going to Discord. All right, so today we are going to be continuing on our thing, our Battleship clone. So if I recall, the test from yesterday did pass. I want this over here. Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's good. And I'll get the TypeScript compiler running. There we go. And yeah, let me just there was a jest game. Oh, shit. Oh, how was I running this before then? I could have sworn I was using maybe. No. Was it npm run test? Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Gameboard.test.js. Or is it .ts maybe? No. There we go. Okay, we got it. Good. I just need to remember how to do that. All right, so our test passed. So now what we want to do is, okay, so we should also have a test that makes sure that a ship isn't placed at invalid coordinates. Yo, Jill, how's it going? How's it going, Carol? All right, so we'll add another test. So we'll say test creation of length 3 ship at invalid coordinates -1, -1, or something like that. Yo, what's up, Jay? All right, so we're gonna basically do the exact same thing. We're gonna create a length 3 ship at invalid chords, which actually it might even give me an error because of the type, because type coordinate does not include -1, -1. So I don't even know if this is gonna work. Yes, I did push through, Jay. Yeah, I don't know about tomorrow, but you know, here's the thing. I always like don't want to stream in the morning, and then like as soon as because I know as soon as I sit down and start, I'm like into it. So it's you know, it's part of it, I guess. Okay, so maybe there's another way of doing invalid coordinates. Like, what if we did like we do like 6 or no 8 on the x-axis and then 0. So this shouldn't be valid, because then if we're using our, if we're going to our example here, where is our, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be placing a ship here, And then so it should go off the screen, right? So that shouldn't be valid. Or actually, no, technically replacing it here. I appreciate you for joining, Jay, and everyone else that's early today. So, so it should equal 0. And then we should test the coordinates. So test board at 8 and 9 should be empty. I think this works with our existing implementation. I could be wrong. Yeah, because I do have a ship inbounds test, right? So then this check should fail, which makes this test pass, I think. Yeah, okay, cool. So now the next thing that we want to do is we want to create a test where we can't have overlapping ships. So if let's say we place a ship like in the top left, and then we try to place another ship on top of it, this shouldn't work, right? So we'll create a test for that. Let me see. So let's create a ship of length 3 at 0, 0. And then we'll try to create another ship of length 2 at the same location. Or maybe we can create it like there or something like that. Because then we're basically going to be creating another ship like there. Alright, so that shouldn't be valid. So we'll test that. Board state ship alive, and then there should be a ship at these 2 spots here, or 3 actually. But with the length should only be 1, because we're going to implement it so that creating this ship does not work. But this will fail because we don't check for overlapping ships yet. Yo, Saish, how's it going? So this test will fail. Good. That's what I wanted. Lucky Raj, we're not interested in using AI. You can check the description if you want more answers to stuff. I have an FAQ in the description. Okay, so let me see. So that's failed. So we need to have an explicit check. So for ship inbounds, so we have a ship inbounds test, and then we could also do another overlap, which we could probably also do in the same function. I could rename this to like valid ship position or something like that. Because we're not only checking whether it's in bounds, we're also checking whether it's overlapping. So we just add to this big if statement thing here. And and then we need or ship.x. Actually, I need to have this as an and clause. Ship.x plus x off. How do I do this, actually? Let me think about this. Oh, actually, no, I don't. I need to do this dot board ship dot x plus x off ship dot y plus y off is equal. We have to make sure it's empty, right? So we need to do ship or no, what is it? Board state dot empty. I think. Did I start learning full stack from scratch? I already knew some stuff. Saish, yeah, I started learning full stack from scratch, but I already knew how to code. Yo, Harris, how's it going? But yeah, oh, thanks, Caro, for answering. I appreciate that. Okay, so now this not only checks whether the ship is in bounds, but it also checks that the position that the new ship is being created at is empty. Because if it's already occupied, then the board state will be ship alive, right? Which is what we don't want. So now this test should pass, I think. Right? Oh no, it didn't pass. Okay, so we failed 2 tests now. Why? Test creation of length ship. I wonder if the game board is, I don't know. So it expected 1, it receives 0. So neither of these works. Oh, sorry, because this is the check. Okay, this is bad logic. Okay, I need to check because I'm checking for a false. I need to actually check. I need to check that the board state's occupied here. So we need to check because this is checking out of bounds. Sorry, I had it backwards. Okay, now this should work. Okay, that was just me mixing up what the logic was supposed to be here. So now I need to actually check if the board space is occupied. Because if the board space is occupied, I want to return that it's a false ship position. Like it's an invalid ship position. Otherwise, it is valid. Okay, so that should be fine now. Yes. Okay, good. That passed. All right. Cool. So, game board should be able to place ships at specific coordinates, calling the ship factory or class. The other thing I need to do for the ship is when we attack the ship, we need to track where it was attacked, because we don't want to have it so that we can attack the same square twice, right? Because we could just attack the same square 3 times and the ship would sink. So we want to make sure that we can't attack the same location on the ship more than once. So when it comes to the ship implementation, we have to have a way of tracking that. Yeah, post-debug clarity, exactly. We need to have a way of tracking that. So I'm just thinking about the best way to do that. We should probably write the test first in spirit of the test-driven development, but I'm wondering if I put the initial test in ship. So the ship test should pass. Let me just ensure that they do. Okay, good. So since the ships are only one-dimensional, we probably only need to have a single array that's the length of the ship that stores whether the ship element is hit or not, right? So like initially all the ship elements, like for this length 3 ship, all of them are not hit, right? So we need a new data structure for that, I think. And then we have to handle that with this. But before that, we need to do the test. So we'll do tests, hit ship, length 3, ship, twice in front 2 squares. Or something like that. So basically what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to somehow figure out, like, when calling the hit function, we're going to have to put in a number that is the offset from the original, like the this is how I'm thinking of implementing this, is we have the hit method has one argument, right? Which is like an offset. So if the ship's vertical, the offset will be the y coordinate. And if it's horizontal, then the offset will be the x, right? And essentially that will tell you which square of the ship has been hit, right? So we'll have to obviously modify these tests a little bit to be copacetic to that. So what we'll do is we'll say, we'll give it arguments here. So we'll say 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Actually, we should probably make, so should we make the offset 0 or 1 indexed? Probably 0. So this is the offset from the origin, right? So for a length 3 ship, this would be the odd offset of 0, this would be an offset of 1, this would be an offset of 2. That's how I'm thinking of doing this. So we'll do this. So if it's in its front 2, depends which way you interpret the ship facing, but I'll hit its second and first spots or something like that. Then I also want to do test ship dot maybe like a damage, like some array to store which parts of the ship are damaged and undamaged, right? I don't know what variable we want for that. I'll just say damage and then like 0.2 equal ship damage dot, or to equal just false, I guess, because they can be is damaged. So these will just be, it'll just be a Boolean array whether it's damaged or not. I think that's fine. We don't really need an enum for that, I don't think. But then we want the other two to be damaged. Right? Oops. So that's good. So now these tests are all going to fail, but that's fine. I'm actually surprised these ones passed, even though they were given arguments. So we'll let hit accept an argument. So we'll say offset as a ship length. Right? Actually, no, we don't. We won't want that. We'll just say number. And then what we'll do is we'll say if offset. Actually, we need another test first, because we want to check whether the offset is invalid or not. Right? Invalid hit offset. So essentially, if we give an offset that's too large, then it should fail. So we'll do this or something. We'll do test ship is a ship of length 2, but if we try to hit its second location, you know, if we have a length 2 ship, then 0, 1, 2, that would be an invalid offset, right? So we'll say expect test ship dot hits to equal 0, and is damaged for both of these to be false. Right? So basically the hit missed the ship. So we'll have that check up here. So we'll say if offset is less than 0, or offset is greater than this dot length minus 1, because it's 0 indexed, right? Then we just return. We need to modify the implementation here. Number. Okay. Or not the implementation, we need to modify the interface. Of course. So now, this test should pass. However, we don't have the is damaged data structure yet. So we need to set that up. Actually, I need to probably put this here. So I'll say this dot is damaged equals array this dot length, or I'll just say len as well. And then we obviously need to fill this with all values of false, right? So there's got to be a way of doing this easily. Like maybe dot map or something. Oh, I can do, is this a thing too? 0, 2, 4. Array.fill. Okay, so I can do this. Yo, Bria, how's it going? Hope you're having a good Saturday. Okay, so then we'll just console log. Well, the is damage should be false anyway, so the test will test that. We also need an is damaged function as well. That's public. Well, actually, we'll modify the interface first. Kind of tired, but trying to power through work. Working from home at least. Nice. Working from home on a Saturday? That kind of sucks. But I guess what I'm doing is work too, so... you know. Soldier is damaged. Oh, cool. If you have it in the... That's really neat. Okay, guys. There's this cool thing I just found. If you have a declared implementation in an interface and you start typing the function, like just is, and then I press tab, it'll automatically fill it in. That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. Okay, so I'll take a 5-minute break here. But yeah. Your Pomodoro just ended too. Nice. It only sucks because your boss isn't buying you food. Oh, no. Okay, I see. That's nice that your boss buys you food, though. Whenever I go into the office, I don't get food. That's a decent perk. Second year engineering student, Saish, currently in the JS part of the foundation. I think, I want to say, like, you can check my previous VOD, Saish. But I think it was like 15 days or something. So 15 days times 3 hours, like 40 hours or so. Is the VS Code default or extension? I think it's default, Jay, because I didn't install anything. It might be part of the TypeScript extension, though, in fairness. Because I think I have a TypeScript extension. Maybe I don't, actually. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. You're a spoiled bean at work. Yeah, nice. It's nice to be spoiled. Cursor does not do that. Fair. Well, isn't Cursor just like a shitty fork of VS Code anyway? Well, actually, I don't want to say it's shitty because I've never used it. Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't want to disparage Cursor, because if I had to use an AI workflow, I'd probably also use Cursor. It's you don't have to. I don't think you have to use AI with Cursor. It just has better AI toolage. Is toolage a word? Tooling. I've definitely seen and watched people use Cursor. I've never used it myself, though. Yeah, that's fair, Jay. That's why I have the like split tab thing going. Even though aerospace is a little glitchy, the tab or the window manager I have, it's good, but it's a little glitchy. You needed your passport, really? Are you sure it wasn't just like any ID, Caro? Like. Because, like, I've seen some things require ID, but I don't know if it's just, yeah, either one, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not ideal. I think, like, yeah. I think it's stupid how things require that, honestly. Also invades privacy. And we'll have a similar check for this too. And in the hit, we also want to check whether it's damaged. Which we can actually, I have an idea for how to make this better. So I'm gonna wait till the end of the break and then do that, because we can basically just check in the hit function if it's not damaged. And then we can call this function, and then this function can do the bounds check as well. So we only have to do this check once. So I think that's how I'm going to implement that. I think there's actually a way to set, because the Pomodoro usually, yeah, long break interval, I want it to be 6. There we go. That's better. Okay. Alright. Let's get back to it. So we can refactor this a little bit. We'll put this guy, whoops. This guy in here. False. Or sorry, return. Wait, because if it's out of bounds, I want to return undefined. Right, so we have to actually modify this. Or null. We actually change it to null. I think that's a better. Return null. And then we will do, down here we'll return false. And we'll say if this dot damage is, or wait. Call this damaged. Or damage, maybe. If this dot damage at offset is not true. Or actually, I can just return. This is done. I can just return this because it's a boolean already. Type boolean undefined. Oh, because if this isn't... Okay, maybe I'll just make this undefined. Fine. This is a shitty workaround. This should fix this. Okay. Yo, Stuns, how's it going? Nice to see you back. Okay, so this should be good. So here we'll say if is damaged is if it's not true. Oh, wait. Undefined or this dot is damaged is true. We want to return. Expected one. Oh, offset. Right. And then otherwise we can damage it. We'll say this dot damage at offset equals true. You've been busy recently? Oh, nice, Stuns. Yeah, that's good. The calculator project, if Gil's still here, we had a lot of fun with that one. Gil and I had a good time. That was a fun project. Okay, so I think this is everything we need, right? Because we have our is damaged function, and we check whether it's, because if it's already damaged, we don't need to damage it again. And then we set that position to be damaged. So I think that's good. Oh, and then I need a getter for the damage. Changing this implementation a little bit. Whoa. So we'll do that. Is it just a Boolean? Okay, so now that these tests should pass, because this invalid hit offset, let's see what happens. I'm not sure. Okay, cool, they all passed. Nice. Invalid hit offset, cannot hit ship after it's sunk. Or, actually I need another or condition here. Is damage an array? The getter will always return true. Yeah, I'm not worried about the getter. Because the getter... Oh, wait. No, but this did pass. Because the getter, it gets a... It returns the array. But then I'm accessing a very specific... or I'm accessing a specific index of that array. I mean, the tests all passed, so I'm assuming it worked. Because the getter, you call it by just as if you're calling an attribute, right? I mean, my tests passed, so I would assume that works. Whoops. Yeah. The Boolean return in the interface was the confusing part. You mean here? Because it returns the damage array. Because, yeah. The Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's a Boolean array. Because again, since the ships are only one-dimensional, I only need to store it as a one-dimensional array. It's your stigmatism. Oh, nice. I have astigmatism too. But yeah, no, I only need to store the damage as a one-dimensional array because, again, the ships are only one-dimensional, right? So. And then where the ship is actually being hit is going to be handled in the game board, right? And then it feeds the ship interface just an offset, and then the ship will know, right? Yeah, okay, cool. I have mild astigmatism, especially I need glasses to drive at night, actually. But yeah, no, okay. So I think this is good. So now I think we can also test overlapping ship creation. It should work. Although, did I already test that? Oh, right, that's in the game board tests, not the ship tests. Okay, so I feel like this... Oh, yeah, I already tested that. I think that's fine. Yeah. Oh, that's rough, Bria. Do you wear glasses or, like, contacts? Okay, hold on. So now, let's see. What do we want to do next? Let's see. Game board should have a receive attack. Okay, so yeah, we need to do the receive attack function, right? So we will actually do that by creating a test first. Test attack ship. Attack size to ship in one spot. Or something, right? Oh, nice, Bria. Congratulations for finishing work. Glasses for work in front of the computer. Oh, nice. That's not too bad. I should probably be wearing my glasses more often, but I don't like them. Game board should keep track of the missed attacks so they can display them properly. Okay, so we'll do our received attack function first. We'll track missed and hits on the game board as well. With maybe another, I don't know. Or we could probably modify the board state as well to include those missed attacks. So we'll do this. And then we'll do like test board dot receive attack. At like 0, 0. I'll do 1, 0 actually. And then we'll do we probably want to modify the board state as well. Maybe I could change it to like live, sunk, and missed or something. So I'll do this. It's gonna require me to modify the test a little bit, but so I'll do 0, 0 should be alive, and then I'll do hit for that. Change all these to alive. And then .0 dot hits to be 1. And then damage 0 to be false. And 1 to be true. I don't know if I need to test. This might be actually not necessary now that I think about it, because we test this functionality within the ship test. So I'll just leave it at this. KP, you can read the top of the description for what I'm working on. But yeah, I'm working on a Battleship game. Okay, so this test will fail because multiple reasons, but the board state's invalid, so we can actually fix that first. So let's change this to alive. We'll do like hit, and then we'll do a miss as like 3 or something, like this. So this will be like an empty spot that was attacked but was a miss. All the best. I appreciate you. KP. Alright. So we modified that. So then this should fix all of our tests but 1, right? Oh, 3 still failed. Testboard.board. Oh, because of this. I need to modify this here. Is that the only spot? This. Okay, now it's just the one test that's failing, which is what we want. So, we need to actually create that method, right? So, we'll have a receiveAttack on an X at coordinates, Y coordinate. Actually, we don't need a default for that. So what we'll say is we have to iterate through the ships. Well, actually, first we need to check whether. There was even a ship hit, right? We should also probably actually create another test that's attack miss attack on size 2 ship. So we'll do, and then we'll attack like a missed location. So, and then no hits. And then we also want the board to be at 2-1 to be a miss. Right. Yeah, okay, so those fail. So what we need to do is we need to check the state of that attack. So we can say if this dot board xy is empty. Oh wait, sorry. Board state dot empty. Then we set that to a miss. So we'll say this dot board xy equal board state dot miss, and then return, because we don't need to we don't need to keep going in the function if it's a miss, right? We don't need to check. We don't need to iterate through all the ships if the spot doesn't contain a ship, right? We should also preemptively return if the spot is already a miss or it's already sunk, right? If it's already hit. Actually, there's a better way of doing this. Hold on. There's a better way of doing this logic, now that I think about it. Actually, nah. This is more verbose, but it's very clear on what it's doing. So I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah. So if the board state in that location is already a miss or a hit, we don't want to do anything, right? We should actually probably return a bool. Then where the return value indicates successful hit or not, right? And then down here we'll do a return true, right? Because we've been through all of these other 3 cases, the only other case, if we get to this part of the code, like to line 70, because of all the early returns, the board state must be alive, right? So now we iterate through the ships, right? So we do for const ship of this dot. I love how I automatically type shit. That's so funny. Okay, so then we will do a very similar thing to this, where we iterate through the ship length. Except we don't want this. We need to check if this dot board what is it? Ship.x. Actually, no. Ship.x plus x off equals x, and ship.y plus y off equals y. Then we set the board state. So what we'll do is we need to set the board to be a hit. Well, actually, we already do that. Now that I think about it, we can do that up here. Because we know, because we went through all of these other cases, we know that this must be a hit somewhere, right? Because the board must have an occupied ship at that location if we got to this point. Right? So we handle that up there. So it's fine. And then now here, we get to the location on the ship. Where it was hit. So the only tricky part here is to, because we have an X offset and a Y offset, we need to, well, actually we can figure that out pretty quickly. We need to figure out which offset to pass to this hit, right? Because this off could be a Y offset or an X offset. So we can determine that in this if statement here. So what we'll do is we'll say let offset or const offset equals ship orientation dot ship is horizontal, and if it is, then we'll say x off. Otherwise, it's y off, right? And then we'll do ship dot hit at the offset, and I think that's it. I think that's all we need to do. I'm just thinking about this. Oh, and then we can also break out of the loop too. But I don't know if that only breaks out of this loop. I think it only breaks out of the inner loop. You know what I can do, actually? Is I can just return true here. Right? But then it's going to be lacking an ending return, so I'll just, as a default, I'll just return false. Because at the end of the day, if we somehow do go through this entire list and don't find a ship at that location, we just want to return false. So I think this is fine. This should never happen, though. This should never... Should not be reachable. I don't know how to... If there's any other way, but okay, so that's good. think we're good to test, probably. Let's go for it. Right before the end of the break. Let's go. Our test passed. Very nice. Although something's printing that I don't want to. That I don't want to print here. Because there's like something up here. Console log, where? Game board, line 25. Yeah, I don't need this anymore. Good. Alright. So we keep track of missed attacks as well. Game board should be able to report whether or not all their ships have been sunk. Okay, so we can also do that as well. So we'll do that after the break. Yeah, exactly, Jay. It is. I do like how cohesive everything is. Like it's very clear, like what works and what doesn't, right? Like right away, like you don't run into weird problems with state. Like the state is very easy to manage because you're doing the TDD. I don't know. I kind of like it. I don't know if I'll go this TDD driven all the time, but I do like it. So yeah. There were the two types of players in the game: real players and computer players. So we could do we could test inheritance with this. It is a little tedious, I won't lie, because then you're like, you have an idea for something to implement, but you're like, ah, shit, I have to actually write a test first, right? But, you know, it's good. That's the thing that I'm trying to do, is every time I want to implement something, I have to remind myself to write a test. Or two tests for it. And also, you don't have all this bullshit console logging, right? This is a way better way of testing your code than doing console logs like crazy. To make sure the state is what it should be. So, yeah. Yeah, so we need to report whether or not all the ships have been sunk. And we should also test for that as well. So we can have another method for that. And then... we need this. I think we can do... we could probably do inheritance with the player. So we could have a base, like we could have a parent player class, and then like human player and a computer player. All right, so let's write another test then for testing that all of the ships have been sunk. Report all ships have been sunk. Or test. We just like sink all ships. Is there a way to wait? Actually, do I have? I should probably have a setter for orientation here. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. Sink all ships. So we'll just we'll create like 2 ships. Maybe we'll make a length 3 ship at like this location. And then we'll attack them all. So we'll do test board dot receive attack 0 0 1 0 1 2 2 2 3 2. And then expect test board dot what should I call that function? All sunk maybe? And then for that, what we could do is we could just there's a naive way of doing this. I can basically just iterate through the board and then check that there's no board state of alive, right? So that's probably what I'll actually end up doing for that implementation. Okay, so then we run the test and it's going to fail because the function doesn't exist, obviously. I should also probably have a property that stores whether they've all been sunk or not. Maybe not, actually. I'll just leave it. For now. So I'll do all sunk. And then we'll just iterate through the board. So we'll say for let I board size I plus for let j and this will return a boolean, right? Return true. And then we say if this board ij is board state dot alive, then we return false. So if there's any living, or if there's any ships that have not been sunk, then obviously they're not all sunk. Otherwise they have been sunk, right? So that should be fine. Then this should be good, I think. Yeah, perfect. Okay. See how easy that was to implement? I don't know. That was pretty good, and test as well. That took like 5 minutes. But I should probably have another property in here that like stores Or I could probably honestly handle that in the player class, right? I could probably handle that in the player class. The game board doesn't need to know about all that. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to let's create the player. And I'll just scaffold it out. Before I start writing tests, but I will make the test file player.test.ts here. Import player. And then we need to do the game board. Yeah. So the player, there needs to be two types. So let's think about what the difference between a human player and a computer player would be. I think like how they move would be different, but they both share a game board, right? They would both share a game board. I think I'm going to write all three player classes in this one file, because I don't really... I think it's fine. Because I don't expect them to be huge. Because this isn't going to be interacting with the DOM directly. At least I don't think. So, let's see. We're going to have a board. Game board. Right, and then we'll do a constructor. This dot board equals new game board. I think that's all you need, because I don't think the constructor in the base class needs anything else. I don't know. Because the way they move will be different, obviously. I'm just going to look at class inheritance here. It's just a refresh. I think it's extends, right? Yeah, extends. So I think I can do that. I can do class human player. And then we'll do constructor. And then super for now. Or is that not how this works? Oh, sorry, extends player. I forgot to add that part. Okay. I don't think there's anything I need to really test here. Right? So that's fine. And then it will export these two. Just thinking about what I even want the player to do. Because it doesn't really give me much information. I should probably have like a way to place ships, right? That just kind of calls the create ship within the game board, which is fine. So we'll do a place ship. And it'll have a len of. It'll have the same. Arguments as this. Well, I should probably write a test for this first. Something, I don't know. Cost player equals new player. Human player? Sure. We'll do player dot place ship at something like this, and we'll do expect. Oh, and then we need a getter for the board too. Right. Expect player dot board at 0, 0. Or no, that's not right. Player dot board dot. Okay, that's gonna be confusing. Probably should rename this. Maybe player board. Something like that. Player.playerboard dot board. This is where like this gets a little this gets a little with naming, it's a little weird. Player.playerboard dot board dot or no. Dot ships 0 to be instance of ship. And wait, do I need to import this? Probably do. And we'll also expect that the player dot playerboard dot board 0, 0 is alive. So that should fail. Oh wait, I'm running the wrong test suite here. Player. Yeah, okay, so that fails. So then we import or we implement. So we'll just do this dot playerboard dot create ship at len xy. What's the problem? Oh, because we need to import the ship stuff. Import ship. Need to update the import here. Okay. Alright, so that should be fine. So we can place ship, and then I don't know like what we do for, because we need a way to obviously attack another player, right? So we'll write a test for that. Test attack another player. I honestly don't actually know if we need these, but I'll leave them for now, because maybe we only need the one player class. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it's going to go kind of hand in hand with how I develop the DOM stuff, which also I should mention that the DOM functionality does not need to be TDD, because we don't know, we never learned TDD for DOM testing. Oh, yo, Joseph, how's it going? That's all good. No worries whatsoever. We're making progress, though, so... But I appreciate you dropping by. Sucks that you're at work, unfortunately. But I appreciate you coming in, saying hi. Yeah. So we will do this here. So we'll say... we need 2 players, right? Let's do new player, const player 2. I might honestly get rid of the subclasses, the child classes here, because I don't know if these are going to be necessary or not. Well, by DOM I meant like testing the interface, Joseph. Like testing like the user interface, because I do implement the user interface, although it's different. Yeah, because I'm not implementing the DOM logic, like for like in the back end of like JavaScript and all that, right? It's obviously provided by JavaScript and HTML and CSS and like and the web browser, right? So, okay, so let's see. So we got our new players here, and then we'll place some ships. So we'll say player 1 places his ship. It's like 3 at 1 0 or something. 1 1. Player 2 dot place ship on his board at like. Maybe it's a length 2 at 2 3 or something like that. Yeah. That's fair. I don't know though, even if my implementation needs to be tested, because it says here we have not discussed testing the appearance of a web page, which requires a separate set of tools and is outside the scope of this unit. Therefore, you should not test the DOM for this assignment. Instead, you should do your best to isolate every bit of application functionality from the actual DOM manipulation bits. So that's what I'm trying to do, I guess. Because the DOM manager is just going to interface with player, mostly, right? Which then interfaces with the game board. So... and then we'll do player 1 dot attack. Might just do attack, and then it will take in another. It'll take in another player as an argument, and then a set of coordinates. So we'll attack at like 3 3 or something, right? And then we'll do our expect values. Okay, cool, Joseph. I don't think we've learned selenium yet. Let me see. No, we definitely haven't. Right, yeah, this is for more like UI testing, right? Like front-end testing. Yeah, it's an open source umbrella project. Browser automation. Playback tool for authoring functional tests across web browsers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm going to make the decision that we're not going to, I'm not going to worry about that for this project. So, okay, so we attack, and then we need to do expect player one or player two dot player board dot board or dot ship. Ships 0 dot hit dot hits dot to be equal 1, and then expect player 2 dot player board dot board at the position to be hit, right? Board state dot hit and then what else do we need? We can check whether its adjacent tile is alive, right? So the value 2-3 should be alive. The other thing I need to do for the ship is I haven't actually tested vertical ships yet. So I need to have a way to change the orientation of the ship. But that should be like before the game is started, right? Because once the game started, you shouldn't be able to change the orientation of the ship. It's only when you're like placing them, right? So anyway, we'll worry about that in a bit. Okay, so now this test should fail because we haven't implemented attack yet. I could even call it like send attack or something. Or just attack, actually, that makes more sense. Okay, so we'll do attack. So we'll do attack. We'll do a player or opponent as a player. And then our X coordinates and our Y. Right? So we will now attack the opponent's board. So, yo, how's it going? So we'll do if opponent dot player board dot receive attack at the X and the Y coordinates. Then we should probably also return a boolean from this as well. Then return true, otherwise return false. Wait, is that all we need? I think maybe that's all we need, actually. So we can just do this. I think it's that easy. I think it's literally just a wrapper for the player board, because we've implemented all the logic for receiving an attack within the game board object, right? So that's fine. That's all well and good. So then this should pass now, I think. Yeah. Sick. Cool. Alright, that's a good way to end the third session. I think I'm going to go for 6 today. I'm going to go for 6 Pomodoros. But I hope everyone's having a good Saturday afternoon, evening, or Sunday morning, wherever you are in the world. Or even Saturday morning if you're in the West Coast. Okay, what else do I need here, though? Because we can send attacks. Then we also probably need a wrapper within the player to check game over, right? Alright, I'm going to make the executive decision that I don't need. Actually, I'll leave them here anyway. I'll leave the human player and the computer player classes here. Because I don't know if I need them or not. It might depend on the UI implementation. So we're also going to need a some sort of game manager object that manages the players, right? At least I think so. And then that'll coordinate attacks and all that stuff. The other restriction that I need to implement is like when placing ships, ships need to be, they need to have a 1 square gap around itself, because like for example I can't place ships directly adjacent to each other, so that's another thing I'm gonna have to test for in the game board. I may actually write that now as well. And the other thing too is like I can't rotate, for example, I can't rotate this ship because it would be here, and then that would be within the ship's kind of 1 block zone, right? But I can rotate it if I shift it over. Like this. So I need to check for that within the game board object. So I may actually do that now. Or well, after the break anyway. So I'll write another test for that down here. And then maybe some ship rotations as well. The only reason I might need a computer player class is because the way that they make moves, like the computer's gonna obviously need some AI, right? So maybe I'll just leave the class wrappers there, or the child classes, because obviously like it says here like the computer players make random plays, so like obviously the human doesn't make a random play, right? It could also be random. But the human player doesn't make a random move, right? The computer player would. I don't know. I'll leave it open until I get there. I'll see how I want to, because it's hard to know how I want to implement it until I get to that point. So I'll just leave it. Okay. Let's start our fourth Pomo session. All right. Yeah, it's kind of tricky. Okay, so let's write another test for. We're gonna basically test ship adjacency. You're thinking a separate class, yeah. Well, that's kind of why I have the where is it? In the player. Right, that's the test. In the player class, I have a human player and a computer player that kind of extend on the base class. But I haven't done anything with them yet. They're just wrappers essentially. But no, so I'm gonna write a test to test adjacency. So what we're gonna want to do is we're going to want to test adjacency on the left, the right, the bottom, the top, and then the corners. So we're going to need 8 tests here. So we'll actually do describe test or no adjacent, or let me say ships cannot be directly adjacent or something, right? And I think describe has its own tests within it, right? So we'll say test no adjacency, or let's just say left, adjacent left. I'll probably actually just make a const test board. There's a new game board. I should also make a way to maybe remove ships, but I don't need to worry about that right now. Not this second anyway. Okay, so adjacent left. No adjacent left. So we would basically be mimicking this logic here. So if we have, let's say we have one here, we shouldn't be able to place a ship here, right? That would be against the adjacent left rule. So I'm also thinking of, I've also got to have a way to rotate the ships too. So I might do that as well. So I'll write these tests and then I'll write the ship rotation logic as well, because I want to be able to rotate the ships. Let's see here. We'll create a ship. Test board, create ship. At 0 or at 2 0, and then we create another ship at 0 0. So this second creation should fail. Should not be allowed, right? And then what we'll do is we will test the board. Actually, we'll test the number of ships first. We'll say test board expect test board dot I don't know. We'll just make this test board dot ships dot length 2 equal 1, and then we will test the location. So we'll say board at these locations should be alive. And then we'll test that the other ship is not where we want it to be, right? So we want to test that 0, 0, and 1, 0 are empty. And then I could do the same for, so we got left, right, up, down. So we could do the same for left, right, up, down. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. It's going to be very similar tests. No adjacent, right. So if we're creating one here, we're not going to be able to create one here. So that's at 4, 0. So 4, 0, 5, 0. That's fine. And then we're going to do top. We'll do like this or something. So we'll create one at 3, or we'll just do 1, 1. And then we'll do another one at 2, 0. So then 2, 0 and 3, 0 should be empty, and then 1, 1 and 1, 2 should be, or 1, 1 and 2, 1 should be occupied. Yes. No adjacent, up, down. We'll do the same thing. We'll try to create one at 0, 2. And then 0, 2 and 1, 2 should be empty. And then 1, 1 and 2, 1 should be occupied. And then that's just adjacent on the top left, or left, top, bottom, and right. And then we also need to test the corners as well, which we can write tests for. So we'll just copy these. Left, right, up, down. We'll do top, up left, or top left. Do top left, top right. And then bottom left. And bottom right. So top left, we don't want to create, so we have a ship here, we don't want to be able to create a ship here. So we'll create a new ship at 2, 2, and a new ship at 1, 0, or sorry, 0, 1. And then so 0, 1 and 0, 2, or sorry, 0, 1 and 1, 1 should be empty. And then 2, 2 and 3, 2 should be occupied. And for top right, we'll leave it here. Then we create a new one at 4, 4, 1. So 4, 1 and 5, 1 is empty, and then 2, 2 and 3, 2 are occupied. Okay, good. And then down here, create a 3, 0. So we get 3, 0 and, or sorry, 0, 3. Because we're creating it on the Y, right? So 0 on the X and then 3. So 0, 3, and 1, 3. And then 2, 2, and 3, 2 should be occupied. And then bottom right, we create a new ship at, what is that? 4, 4? 4, 3, I think. Yeah, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. So 4, 3. Oh, and this needs to be created at 2.2 as well. So 4.3 and 5.3. Okay. That should be all of our adjacencies. So we're testing left, top, right, bottom, and then all the corners. So then this should obviously fail. Good. So then we'll do the orthogonal first. So we'll test left. Actually, we could probably just write all of them, honestly. So I also need to test so this is fine, but then I also need to have A inbounds, B not overlapping other existing chips, C has one square buffer all around itself. Okay, so then what we need to do is we need to check all positions around that spot. Right. So this is going to be a little convoluted. We essentially need another maybe, I don't know if I do it as like a separate function or something, but we need to have another loop. Like, so for example, if we're on this square, we need to check, and remember, this is before it's being placed, right? So like, let's say we want to place one here. We need to check that there's no overlapping. Like there's no, like, for example, if I place the ship here, then this square would have, it would be overlapping another ship directly adjacent to it, right? So we can check just the left side first. So I don't know if I want to do this as like another huge if statement or what. I can, I guess. It's gonna be kind of ugly, but this is kind of the way I'm thinking of doing it. So we'll do if we'll get this guy. X off plus. Well, actually, wait. If we want to check whether there's one to the left, then we need to actually subtract one off of this guy. We just want to check if it's not empty, right? So now this should just check the left. Left. Oops. So now one of these should pass. So the no adjacent left should pass. Oh no, that failed even more. Oh, because I need to check whether this is a valid chord too. Right. I actually have an idea. What if I did a for loop here? And then we wouldn't even need this check because it could be handled in the for loop. So hear me out. So we'll check that the ship is in bounds, right? And then we'll do a for loop for these two conditions. And we'll do that in the following way. We'll do a nested for. We'll say let I equals 0, or no, -1. I is less than or equal to 1, I plus plus. For let j equals -1, j is less than or equal to 1, j plus plus. So then basically what this is going to do is for any given point, or any given coordinate of the ship, we can check all of its adjacent tiles, including itself, which will check that it's not directly overlapping anything, right? In this kind of 3x3 for loop relative to its position. So then what we can do here is we can say let I don't know, x adjacent, x off adjacent equals ship x plus x off, whoops, plus I, and then I'll actually make this a constant. Const y off adjacent equals ship dot y plus y off plus j. And then what we'll do is we'll say if board, or this dot board at x off adjacent, y off adjacent. Wait, actually first I need to check whether they're in bounds as well. Check bounds of x off adjacent. First. So we can do that very similarly to up here. I could also probably just apply a max and min function, or a max and min, or like a clamp to this, but I don't know. This is fine, I think. Again, this is kind of convoluted, but and then we'll say, yeah, this is kind of a mess, honestly. This is a lot of for and ifs, but I could probably refactor this to be nicer. But it's readable. Like, you can kind of see what's going on. So if this is out of bounds, we can just return false, right? So if it's not in bounds to begin with, we just return false. And then now we do the this board. empty. Board state. Then we return false. Okay. All that just for this. I think this works though. All right, I think that should work. And then we also want to check valid ship position when we rotate the ship as well, right? Okay, so this should, okay, now we're even worse. Okay, why? It's probably... Oh, wait, because this is the wrong logic. So we want to make this less than or equal to 9. Or greater than or equal to 0. Or less than or equal to 9, because the bounds are wrong on this. If we want... If ship is greater than... Okay, actually, I need to change this. So we need to check that it's inbounds first, right? So if it's inbounds, then we do these following checks, and otherwise we return false because it's out of bounds. So I think that's good. Yes. Okay. So I think that's the problem. Maybe. Let's see. Cannot be directly, cannot read properties of undefined. Oh, and these all need to be, oh, because these need to be and. Now that I flipped, these need to be and now as well. Because I flipped the logic. Right. So I don't think this is gonna fix anything. Oh, okay, it fixed a lot. So no adjacent down. That's the only one that doesn't work. Interesting. Why? No adjacent down. So we have a ship at 2-0, which is up here. And then 0-2, which is here. Oh, that's why. Because it should be, if it's at 2-0, this should be at 1-1. This should be at 1-1. So then 2-0 and 2-1 should be fine. Oh, wait, no. 2-0 and 3-0. My bad. 3-0 should be alive, and then 1-1 and 2-1 should be empty. So I think that's just our test being a bad test, right? Because, so let's say we already have a ship here, 2-0. And then we create another ship at 1-1. That would violate the down property. Although I could actually create it there instead. It's kind of backwards because it's actually testing above, but it works either way. So we'll do that actually. So we'll do 2, 1, 3, 1. Okay. Cool. Now this should work. Oh no. No adjacent down still. Why? 1, 1, 2, 1. Oh, because of this. It should be 2, 1, and 3, 1. And then 2, 0 should be occupied, and 3, 0 should be occupied. Okay. Nice. Okay. See, so it's interesting because sometimes you have to debug tests as much as also the implementation, which is kind of tricky. Like, the thing with test-driven development that's kind of going to be weird is that, like, you got to make sure your tests are right, too. Like, I fucked up that test, but I don't know. But also, you can be reasonably sure that the test is bad because all of my tests passed except for one, right? So in this case, it's probably a bad test. So I don't know. I'm just learning about that, I guess. Okay. So what do we want to do now? So we have that. We should probably do the ship rotation. But the problem with the ship rotation is we need to actually update the board, right? The only tricky part with the update board is that we only want to call this when we are placing our ships, right? So that's the tricky part. And we're gonna have a game object, like a game manager or something, that basically keeps track of the game state, whether we're placing ships or we are playing the game. Because obviously when you're playing the game, you can't move your ships around. So we're gonna have to like have two separate states, like a initial like setup state for placing ships, like kind of like that looks like this, and then you know, it transfers to some other view that looks like this, where the ships are already placed, right? So I don't know. I think that's what we're gonna go for. Yeah, I also gotta be disciplined about the brakes, because otherwise I'll run out of steam. So I don't think we're gonna get to actually creating the interface today, but tomorrow, if I stream tomorrow or Monday, I don't know. Because I want to do 5 days a week ideally. I think that's like my target, because I don't know if six might be too much. I don't know. Because I really don't want to burn out. So maybe 5 or 6, but 5 probably. Yeah. Right, there we go. I think I'll implement the flip logic first. Flip ship from horizontal to vertical. So we'll do const test ship as a 3. Oh, sorry, whoops. This is done. This new test, new ship. And we'll do test ship dot rotate. And then we'll check its locations. It's actually we'll just test that expect test ship dot orientation equals ship orientation dot vertical. Flip ship from horizontal to vertical to horizontal. So if we rotate twice, it should go back to horizontal. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so those fail because we haven't implemented them yet. So let's do that. Yo, how's it going, sword? We'll do rotate, and then we'll do a boolean, which will just return whether it was a successful rotation or not. Rotates. And then we'll do well, actually, we want to. Actually, we don't need that. Let's do if. Actually, I'll just do this. This dot orientation. Am I using Obsidian? No, I'm not. I'm not using Obsidian. This is VS Code. Actually, I don't want it to be a boolean. I want it to be void. So that's fine. So we just flip the orientation, so that should work. Yeah. I'm doing alright, Sword. How are you? Are you the same Sword that's in the Discord? Oh yeah, you're Rahul. I thought so. I figured you were in the same Sword as in the Discord. But yeah, no, I'm doing alright. Pretty, you know, not super active stream today, but that's all good. It actually means I can get shit done. So, okay, so we've got our rotate function. But the problem is we're going to need to test whether the rotation's a valid rotation, right? Because, for example, here, I can't rotate this because if I rotated it, it would rotate off the screen, right? So, but I can rotate it there. So I need to check whether the rotation is valid. So I need to maybe do I need to maybe check that. VS Code. You got super motivated to start doing code forces? I mean, hey, if it's like practice that's like going to be useful to you, like for like solving data structures and algorithms, like I'd say it's worth it. Even if like, you know, it's not like actually building something. Like if you want to get better at your like CS skills, like it's still a good use of your time, sort of. You know, like it's not entirely useless to be doing that. Plus, if you want to like prepare for like interviews, it's really good, right? So, okay. Anyway, so we do that, and then we also need to handle. We need to handle the rotation within. Within this, within the game board here. You also get rewarded for having high rating. Oh, nice. Interesting. I did not know that. So I might have like a rotate ship function or something. Which will take in an XY coordinate. So what we could do for this rotate ship is, well, actually, I'll write the test first, as you do. So we'll do our Game Boy tests. Describe ship rotation. You're going to college in 4 to 5 months and planning to learn full stack development. Any advice? I'd say there's two things. I would say it's pretty difficult to learn full stack at the same time as school, but prioritize school on top of learning full stack if your school is not teaching you full stack. How long am I streaming, Bria? Till 4-ish, so another hour. Yeah, prioritize school on top of learning full stack, and also. If you are learning full stack and you've never done it before, I would try the Odin Project or Free Code Camp. I have some resources in the description of this stream that you can check out. If you scroll down to the FAQ section, you should see some resources down there. So, okay, so let's do valid rotation. Valid rotation, horizontal to vertical, or something. Yeah, no worries. So, yeah, you skipped college, that's fair. I mean, I did too. I skipped a lot of my classes, I'm not gonna lie. So let's say we have a test board, and then we'll create a length 3 ship at 0, 0, and then we can test board dot rotate ship, and then the rotate function is going to take in an XY coordinate. Right? And then it'll return a Boolean depending on whether it was a successful rotation or not. And then what we'll do is we'll say expect this, and then we would also expect that the ship. So if it's a length 3 ship, we would expect that it's this, right? So it's 0, 1 or 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2 are alive. Oops. Yeah, that's fair, Bria. I honestly was so bogged down. I'm just going to have a little snack. I was so bogged down by my studies, like, because I was in 5 courses and trying to manage, like, a social life and other things that, like, I did not have time for, like, extra learning. So I probably should have managed my time better, but I didn't. Okay, so that should have failed. Good. Oh, nice. I had some night classes in mine. Mine had night classes. So like from like 6 to 9 p.m. Okay, so now let's implement that function. Dang, you work full-time and go to school and take care of your mom? Wow. What's my stream routine, June? So I stream around 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on weeknights, so Monday to Friday. And then on weekends, I'll stream in the afternoon around 1 p.m. Eastern Time. She's exhausted but determined. Yeah. Hey, I respect it. Yeah, working full time's a lot. I mean, I'm working full time on top of streaming. So I work 40 hours a week and I stream like 15 to 20 hours a week, give or take. So more like 15 hours. Okay, so we need to find the ship first, right? Oh, you're injured? That sucks. You're sleeping for a whole day. That's a good good reward, I would say. No, don't cut off working out. Working out's good. Makes you feel better. Yeah, I need to get a solid workout routine. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry you're hospitalized. That's really shitty. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll say check, it'll be self-explanatory. So say if ship.x is x and ship.y is y. So we'll say ship.rotate and then we'll check the valid position. If actually we'll check if it's valid. After rotation, then we return true. Wait. Argument of type ship objects. Oh, because did I not? No. Oh, I guess it is, Okay, that should fix it. Actually, I could just return, because if it's that, otherwise we rotate it back. If it isn't valid, rotate back. You get enough-ish sleep, maybe? That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. I try to get a lot of sleep. Like, last night I got like 9 hours because I slept in because it's the weekend. I don't know. Sleep's pretty important to me. Even though I'm a night owl, which causes me to sleep in. Oh, that's fair. Wow. 3.87. Yeah, that's around what my GPA was. That's really good, Bria. 6.7 in the big 2026. Yeah. I think that's the first meme that made me realize I was old. This 6.7 meme. Okay, so this is good. So I think that's fine. I think this works. Still doesn't. That was the first meme for me that I didn't understand. I don't think it means anything. Like, a lot of memes don't really mean anything, right? I don't know. Okay, so... rotate ship. Okay, so this should now pass, I think. No. Okay, why? Oh, because it didn't... So we create the ship, and we update the board. Oh, because you know why. I need to also update the board in here. That's why. I didn't update the actual board. I'm not gonna lie, Sword and Ansha, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're free to talk. You remembered how young I was? Now I feel old. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rub it in or anything. I'm not like I'm young, but I'm not young. Like, it depends on who you ask, I guess, or who else. Like, because I'm old to someone who's 18, but I'm young to someone in their 30s, right? So it's kind of like I'm in this weird like quasi state where I'm like young and old at the same time. I don't know. It's weird because like some people in my community are like 16, 17, and some people are like, you know, in their 30s. Or even 40s. Oh, you're talking about an engineering entrance exam. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. I didn't actually have an entrance exam. Interestingly. I need to set the old position to blank, though. That's the thing here. It's one of the toughest exams in the world. Really? I bet. I believe it. To a 50-year-old, you're a kid. Yeah, that's fair. I guess that's how it is for the rest of your life. Eh? Like, people that are older will think that you're a child, and people that are really younger will think you're old. I don't know. I honestly don't think 30s is that old anymore. Like, when I think of somebody who's, like, getting old, I would think, like, mid-40s. You know? At least to me. So anyone basically that, like, isn't a millennial anymore. Like, or anyone that's, like, Gen X or older, I would consider old. Like, anyone who could, like, theoretically be, like, my parents' age, you know? I don't know. Maybe that's weird. But, let me see. The problem is I need to reset the board. To be all blank. So I can do that first, I guess. And I think I can just do this. I can just do this dot board I dot fill board state dot empty. I think this works. Wow. Yeah, group projects are dog shit. I hate them. 1.5 million high schoolers give the exam. Only top 2% get a decent college. Dang. Okay, so it's like the college then in India has discretion of who they accept based on scores. Wow. Yeah, no, that's crazy. So you're all competing against each other. It's probably like friggin'... That's kind of rough. Okay, so then what we need to do is if it's a valid position, we need to update the board, right? Refresh board if valid. Actually, that's probably not necessary. Okay. That's good. I think. You'd rather group project, or sorry, a group project than peers reviewing your assignment? Yeah, that's tough too. I would not like that. G advance your computer from those top colleges. Yeah, top 15K get into the top colleges. Oh wow. Wait, so you guys like get admitted like to like international schools from that test then? That's crazy. It couldn't be me. I did get a new mic, Jay. I ordered one because I was sick and tired of the other one disconnecting. It's cheaper. I got it on a deal, but I got a cheaper mic. Or a new one. But it seems to be fine, I think. You can let me know, but I did some testing. I think it's good. Probably shouldn't be spending my money like that, but you know. It is a fee fine, actually. I got it on, it was a 30% off. So it was like regular like 82 Canadian, and I got it for like 56 Canadian. Ish, with tax. Oh, it's for Indian colleges named IIT and IIT. Oh, I see. They're completely underrated, yeah. I read the reviews, Jay, and they were good. They were good reviews. So I was like, for the price point, like it's pretty good. The other mic I had for like a year, so like way before I started this channel. I think this works now. I think this is fine. I think I can do this. No, I can't apparently. Oh, the length is still. Oh, test board 01 to be alive. Ah, so it didn't rotate. I don't think the rotation worked. Interesting. Take a bit of a break here. Would have opted for that. Oh, the Shure. Isn't Shure a really good name too, Jay? Like, I think that's a really good... it's like professional, like podcasting level. Yeah, that's crazy, Sword. You were influenced? Yeah. See, I saw that one. I saw the Shure. Or I don't know how it's pronounced. Shure? Anyway. I saw that one, but it was like $400. And I'm like, fuck, I don't... Like, I just want a new... I don't want a crazy expensive mic. Because, like, my channel isn't that big. I just want something that's going to sound decent and work well. Like, I could have kept with my internal one. On my laptop, but I wanted to have something decent. Yeah, $550. Damn. Yeah, I saw it on Canadian Amazon. It's like, I don't know, it was like between 300 Canadian and like 700, depending on the model, because there's different Shure models. Yeah, another entrance exam, 1.5 years. Dude, that's a lot. How old are you, Sword? Like, how long have you been prepping for stuff like this? You sleep after 5 a.m. now? Jesus. That's tough. Yeah, I couldn't have that life. Dang. That is... shit. It's always how it goes. Like, the thing is I could probably cheese my work to get discounts too, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel doing that, to be honest with you. It also technically wouldn't be for work. Like, I could say it's for work, but like, I just use my built-in laptop mic for work, and that's all that they care about. You prepared for it from the age of 19 to 20 in your second year of college? Okay, I see. Dang. That's tough. Honestly, kudos to you guys, though, because I didn't do any entrance exam. I just had like a decent GPA applying. Yeah, I can believe it, Jay. I can believe it. Huh. Yeah, no, not at mine, because ours is like government funded, public sector, so they're very strict about what we can and can't get. You're 22 currently? Nice. Okay, so you're a couple of years younger than me. I didn't start my CS degree till I was 22, so... but I did it in 2 years, so I don't know. Maybe that's kind of cheating. It wasn't cheating, but it felt kind of cheese. Because of the program that was offered. I'm having two conversations at once. Yeah, it is tricky. I'm trying my best. Imagine trying to keep up multiple conversations at once and code at the same time. That's kind of what I'm doing when I'm streaming. Do I guys placement in colleges? Sometimes Sword, but it's not as common. There are job fairs and stuff. Like for example, I only got the job that I have now because I did an internship the year before. And I got offered a contract. So anyway, I got kind of lucky. I'll say that. So okay. So back to the coding. I don't think this rotate function is working. Oh, yo, innovation. How's it going? I am still doing the Odin project. We're at the very last project in the JavaScript course. I haven't done this Git stuff yet, but the Battleship app. So we're making the Battleship app. And I'm just doing kind of like the main modules before I actually, there's no actual like display yet. Love from India. It's your first time. Nice. How is it treating me so far? I'd say it's good. As I say, I like the project-based nature of the Odin project, right? Like, you know, it gives me an outline for what I can do, but I've kind of got a lot of freedom with how I approach the implementation. Yo, Pratt, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Recommend pseudocoding the rotate method. Oh, there's another 6-7 meme. The rotate method, though, is easy relatively because the rotate method literally just modifies this orientation attribute or field, I guess. And then based on that, the actual rotation is handled in the update board and the valid ship position functions. Thank you, Pratt. I appreciate that. How to learn JavaScript and code with logically you don't understand. Take it very slow, concrete. Start really basic. If you do the Odin project, it starts you right at the basics. You were saying 6-7 unironically, yeah. I think you're right though, Sword. I think you're right. Current position, new position. Yeah. So basically, the logic that I have right now. Okay, June. I'll get back to you in a second. The logic that I have right now is like so. I'm using this as a model, right? So this is the model that I have. So we're placing the ship that's length in the test anyway. Let's go to the test. We're placing a length 3 ship at position 0, 0, and the origin is always in the top left. The top or the left position of the ship, because the ship is either horizontal or vertical. Its origin point will either be on the far left or the top, right? And then what we're doing is we're calling the rotate ship method, and we take in an XY coordinate, which is how I just decided the implementation was going to be. So this ship is at 0, 0, right? And then this rotate ship method calls this, right? And then we basically loop through the ships, and then we check that the ship is at, like we check for a ship at that location, and then we rotate it. And then if the rotated position is valid, then we update the board and return true. Otherwise, we rotate it back and return false. Yeah, you're right, Sword. Exactly. Which is why if you go to the beginning of the Odin project, it gets you initiated to all that, like, basic stuff. But here's, June, here's the background stuff I've got going. You can check that out. Again, the Odin project's good, my guy. So I have a sneaky feeling that the board isn't being updated properly. Or if the rotation. How's accounting for the direction of the rotation? So that's a property within the ship. So basically the rotation or orientation. Maybe I should have called it rotation, but it's kind of like an orientation. It's either horizontal or vertical, right? And then based on that, in the ship itself, it only keeps track of its orientation. But then in the game board, when I'm placing the ships, it calculates an X offset and a Y offset based on the ship orientation. Yo, JMac, how's it going? So that's basically how this is working here. Yeah. So the actual like checking the actual rotation on the game board is done in the game board class, not in the ship class. And the same thing is done with the checking the valid ship position too. The same logic right here. So we check that the ship's in bounds, and then we do this nested for to check its adjacent tiles. We check the bounds of that first, and then we ensure the space is empty. So, yeah. All right. So I think though there's something with this ship dot orientation. I don't know if this is being updated properly. Oh no, it is, because one would be vertical. So it is being rotated. Refactoring the orientation to the ship class might give more clarity. Yeah, that's true. I think you're right, but the actual, like, I don't know, it's tricky because of the way it's implemented. Because the ship keeps track of its own orientation, but it doesn't need to care about where it is on the game board necessarily. I mean, it can. I don't know. It's kind of tricky. I'm just thinking about how I would do that. Because then I would need to have, like, so you know how, like, in the, so the ship, I would need an array of positions, right? So, like, if the ship's vertical, then I would need an array of locations for that. Yeah, I don't know. But if we handle it in the game board, then when we draw the game board using the whatever DOM function we write in the future, then all it needs to do is iterate through the game board, and then the rotation's handled by the game board. Then we don't have to worry about that rotation state also being in the ship. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave it how it is now, but if it gets untenable, then I'll refactor it. But I have a feeling that the board is not. I actually don't know if it's a valid position. Like, we can check. We'll actually check that rotate ship is true in the test as well. We'll do const rotated, and then we'll say expect rotated to equal true. Right. Okay, so it was false. Okay, so this obviously didn't pass So it was this dot valid ship position did not pass. But it should be, because if we place the ship here and then we rotate it, it should just do that. The game board's doing too much. The player class can log the ship locations for the iterable. You're right. Oh, yeah, I hear you, Sword. You don't want to think anymore? Yeah, I feel that. I think at that point, though, Sword, is you just take a break, right? Innovation. So basically, all right, so let me go through this. So there's going to be, and I haven't implemented this yet, but my thinking is that there's going to be two phases. There's going to be a placing phase, like this, where you drag and place your ships. And so that's going to be like one state of the game. And then the other state is going to be the playing. Like actually playing Battleship. Yeah, exactly, the Pomodoro technique. Once we're actually playing the game and we've started the game, then the ships are static, obviously, right? So this logic is more so for the placing, when we're placing the ships, right? So that will be like one state of the game, and then it'll move on to the gameplay state, I guess. So there's going to be two states. I haven't implemented that yet, technically, but I'm kind of setting it up so that these objects or these classes can handle or have interface for those two states. No, that doesn't necessarily matter, innovation, because each player has their own board, right? Like each player has their own board, so that we don't actually need to check for that. Because that's how Battleship works, right? So that doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. So you can see this. I have a player class here where each player gets their own board, right? Yeah, no, yeah, it's fair. I hadn't played in a long time either, but this is the example website that it uses. So I'm modeling my implementation off of this, right? And I'm using this Battleship game to visualize what I'm doing in the code, right? So right now I'm testing a ship rotation. So I think Jay's right, though. I think Jay, I need to consolidate some of this into the player class. I'll do that someday, Sword. For sure. I think that might even be in the React section. I'm not going to lie. That might even be in the React section. Let me, okay, let's see. So this is not a valid ship. I'm just thinking about how I refactor this. Because right now the ships are stored in the game board. But maybe I refactor the ships out of the game board into the player. I might need to do that. Okay, so you know what we can do? We can refactor the ships out of the game board and into the... But the reason I did that, though... Here's the only hang up with refactoring the ships out. Because the game boards should have a receiveAttack function that takes a pair of coordinates, determines whether or not the attack hit a ship, and then sends a hit function to the correct ship. Let me see. Because game boards, like, so I was following this implementation, and I think, yeah, see, game board should be able to place ships. So I think the ships should actually still be handled in the game board. Based on this. I could keep them in the player, but then I think it would be too difficult to access ships from the game board. Because the player has a game board which has multiple ships, right? So I think the state would be too complicated if I put them in the player. Now that I'm just thinking this through. Depends on how decent you want it to be a fully functional website. Yeah, exactly, sort of. Or if you want like networking capability, right? Like if you want your game to have networking, that's a whole different can of worms. Like you need a whole back end for that and stuff, right? Well, Jay, each I should say each player has its own board, right? You point to a game board table for a ship or something and update the values. Yeah, I don't know. Can I like summarize this game or this code? At this point, it's really hard, Sword. You can watch the like yesterday's VOD and the rest of today's VOD once it's finished. But I start from scratch. You haven't played this game ever? Oh, you mean the game? You know what we'll do at the end of the stream? We'll play around online. Okay, so after this timer's up, I'll play a round of Battleship and then I'll end the stream. It's a very abstract way to think of it, and it's the Odin Project, not me. The game board should be the same, I think. Yeah, that's fair. No, yeah, so I'm trying to implement based on these rough specifications, right? But maybe this logic should be, like this receiveAttack should probably be within maybe the player, right? So they would go against, like Jay, if I refactored it, it would go against this. But I could do that. So, I mean... But then we would still have the valid... Yeah, you see the hang-up? Yeah, that's what I mean. Because of the way I implemented it based on the Odin project, it's making it tricky. Follow my heart, yeah. I think you know what I'm going to do? For the rest of the... Like, this last 8 minutes... Because I keep waffling back and forth. I think I'm going to work with what I have. And then if I can't figure this out in the next 8 minutes, I will refactor it tomorrow. Because I don't think I have the energy to refactor it right now. So, yeah. I think I'll do that now. I'm too easily persuaded by chat. No, it's fine, though. I like you guys giving suggestions. Yeah, fair. I mean, sometimes it's better not to think, but it's also good to think. But you can also get analysis paralysis, right? Which is kind of what I'm falling victim to. So I think I should just work with what I've got for now, and then if it gets to be crazy, then I'll put in the energy to refactor. So this test is failing, and I'm not 100% sure why. Yeah, fair, Jay. Alright, good luck, Sword. I think I'm going to do... Because I don't know where this is failing. That's the only trouble. So I might need to also have some console logging happening. So this test is failing. And then... Yeah, because it's in bounds. And then it checks the adjacents. So X off should be 0, Y off should be... Oh, I know why, I think. Because, okay. I think the reason is because, so the ship's already been placed here. Okay, so just bear with me for a second. The ship's already been placed here. So when we rotate it and then we check whether it's a valid position, the game board still thinks that there's a ship horizontal. So when we check this position, it's going to fail because it's going to think that there's a ship here, and then placing this here will be overlapping. But really it's the same ship. So that's why it's not working. It's not React. It's vanilla JavaScript, TypeScript. Yep. But that's why, because this function, valid ship position, thinks there's still a ship horizontal here. Yeah, it should be. But I just kind of included. I included both. Right, the base coordinate check should be separate. I agree. Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe what I do is I set I to be 1. So I check, so that avoids the base coordinate check, right? But then we also need to have our base coordinate check up here. Check base coordinate. And then check rest of ship or something. So we could refactor it like that. Yeah, I see what you're saying, innovation. That's a good point. So we'll do that first. So we'll check the bounds, right? And we don't need to include any X offset or Y offset. And then if this passes, actually I might want to do, I'm going to check out of bounds. So I have to flip this logic. Or wait, no. Greater or ship Y is less than 0. And then we also need to do, we need to check that position at ship X and ship Y is empty, but it won't be empty, obviously, if we're just rotating it. Right, yeah, no, I hear you. Okay, that's a good point, innovation. Let me think about how to do that. We could add a parameter. This is going to be kind of confusing. So I'll probably write code for this. So we'll say check rotation Boolean equals false. So we'll have an optional second parameter, and then we'll say let I equals check rotation. If we are checking rotation, we skip the base coordinate. Otherwise, we don't. Right? Oh, can't have a question mark and an initializer? Okay, fine. That's fine. So what we'll do here is we'll say skip base coordinate self if checking rotation. And then we say just... Oh, actually, this isn't going to work, is it? Because I need to say... Let's just say, like, let's start. or something, right? Constant. It's probably going to want me to make this a constant. There we go. All right. All right, I think that might work. Right, so now we have an optional check rotation Boolean value, right? So now this should work theoretically. So we'll say, is this valid? And then we'll say true. We're checking rotation. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. So I don't think I need to modify this. Okay, so it still failed. Rotated. Testboard.rotate ship. Okay, so it still failed there. I'll just like get rid of this. We'll see if it actually worked. Interesting. So I don't think it rotated, but there's a reason for that. Probably... I'm kind of confused then. Let me like console log the ship dot orientation. I just want to make sure it's vertical. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's what we want. Vertical is 1. As we can see from the ship. Yeah, vertical's 1. Okay. I'm just gonna try and finish this little task, and then we'll play a round of Battleship, and then we'll head out for today. Oh. I think I also know the problem. Because, okay, so now this is getting even weirder innovation. Because, so we're checking the spots, these two spots, right? Because we're skipping the first one. But however, when we check for the non-overlapping one square all the way around, we're still hitting this. Because like for a ship, we're basically trying to enforce the rule that ships need a 1 block or a 1 square border all the way around. However, when we check one border or whatever all the way around this square here, we're hitting our original one as well. So what we need is another check within this. So we also need to do a ensure x off adjacent y off adjacent is not equal to xy or ship.x because actually yeah, I think that's what's happening. So I can just do a preemptive continue here. So what I can do is I'll do if ship.x equals x off adjacent and ship.y is equal to y off adjacent, then continue. We just skip. We skip this iteration and then go to the next one. right? Maybe we only want to do that check when we are checking rotation. But I'll leave it that way now. I think. So I think this maybe fixes it. I don't know. This is kind of fucked up logic. This is like a lot. This is a lot of nested bullshit. Okay. Okay, we're still false. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. Just want to make sure this is working. I think I'm gonna I want to dot skip all these, but there's got to be an easier way. Nah, I'll leave it. Yeah, so it goes 0, 1. Yeah, so it doesn't even make it past the first loop, right? But it starts at 1, which is good. Yeah, so might be easier to flag coordinates as invalid and only check them against invalid squares. Yeah. I don't know. I might reapproach this tomorrow or something, because I don't know. And it does, at least in this project, it's encouraging test-driven development. So the idea is that I'm writing tests first and then writing the implementation to pass the test. At least I'm trying to. Am I doing it perfectly? Probably not. But you know, try my best, I guess. Anyway, yeah, it's cool. But I think there's probably something deeper happening in here that I don't know if I have the energy to do today, but there's something wrong with this. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. So I'll leave it for something to do tomorrow, so that it's something to start with. So I'll just note still broken. Fix. Just for now. Okay. And then I'll do a git commit as well. I'll say add. I don't even know what I added actually. I could look at the diff or something. Ship, placing, and receiving attacks. Add player class with own board, which with own board or something. Basic player class methods to interface with board, with its board. I don't know, something like that. I'm not very good at writing commit messages, to be honest with you. But anyway. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I guess I could play. Do you want me to play a round of Battleship? Let me just play around. So this is kind of like how I think. No, it's all good. I'm not too concerned. Because this is just for myself. Again, like, I'm writing the Git messages for me. I'm not writing them for other people, so I'm not as concerned, I guess. So like, we'll place our guys, and then okay. So let's play around. Maybe I'll put one here or something. I don't know. Okay. I think he's gonna go first, right? Hello. So this is how I'm gonna have it work. This is gonna be like the opponent's grid, which will be just a computer, right? This is kind of the idea. So these are misses, right? I think I'm playing with someone like online, by the way. This is like Battleship ranked. Okay, so he missed. Let me do like down here. No, so I missed again. So I'm waiting for someone to get a hit here. I appreciate you. Okay, so I got a hit. Oh, I missed. Okay. That's the other thing, is if you hit a ship, you know that it's the corners are going to be misses as well. Okay, so I got that guy. This is riveting gameplay, guys. So you can see he hit my single ship here. But yeah, I'll just finish this game here. This is okay, so let's see. Nope. Okay, so he's hit 2 of my ships now. Okay, I got that one. And it's either to the left or... Yeah, so I got that. Okay. So this fucking guy cannot hit my... He's not very good. I mean, am I very good either? No, not really. Okay, yeah, you got my corner one. Oh, nice. You got lucky. This dude, man. Up. Down. Oh, I got one of his big ones. Yeah, so he sunk that ship. But yeah, no, this is like roughly what I'm going for at the end, like once it's over. Except the game will be played with, obviously, like a computer, right? So I think this guy's probably better than me. even though it is kind of luck based. Yeah, so he's definitely winning. Yeah, so turns out I'm not that good at Battleship. Although he's only got one. My one spot. Yeah, there we go. All right, so he beat me. Nice. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna end for today. I think here it's 4 o'clock. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll be live tomorrow afternoon or Monday evening. I haven't decided which day I want to take off yet. Because I'm gonna probably take one of those 2 days off just so that I can rest a bit. I'll let you know in the Discord. But yeah, we're gonna fix this bug next time. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.